tonight on BBC One. At 7 o'clock, Tomorrow's World includes a look at the dangers of driving.
Barry, I've commandeered a vehicle.
The old trick, eh? Eat the telly before I get a chance to nick you.
It's a toaster. Dalek, you have been defeated. Surrender. You have failed.
Insufficient data.
Nazi ain't got no humanity. They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed. That's why any and every sumbitch we find wearing a Nazi uniform, they're gonna die.
Is this world protected? Because you're not the first lot to have come here. Oh, there have been so many. And what you've got to ask is, what happened to them?
Hello. I'm the Doctor.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. And oh, yes, he was the Doctor. He was completely the Doctor. Well, sad how things go. Honestly, you know, I'm telling you, who I actually feel sad for, right? As we're going to, because I'm preparing the show today. I have, we've got too much to go over, right? As always, we've always got too much to go over because there's. But I feel really bad for Rusty Davis. I'll tell you why. I mean, he's batshit crazy, bonkers delusional, and the implosion we've seen of Doctor Who this week. Which, yes, it's been an implosion. It's been very bad. This has probably been the worst week for Doctor Who in terms of like their public perception of it. It's the perception of a achingly annoying woke show that isn't very good, right? I don't think it's really fair to have that perception. But anyway, it's got the perception because it's the new queer era. That's what I'm calling it now, the queer era, right? This is not the 15th Doctor or the first. This is the queer era, right? We have the what would I call it? The Jodie era. This is the queer era, right? I think this is the queer era. It's the only way of really describing it. How long will it last for? Look, its only hope I see right now is the whole Bluey story, which apparently was started by a theory thought up by Dan, right, from Type 40. I didn't know that, right? Bluey is the #1 show on Disney Plus. It gets like ridiculously more than everybody here. 1 second, I just had yeah, here we go. 1 second, let me pull this up. Hang on. No, not there. You go there. I got too many windows open, right? Too many windows open. Here we go. 1 second. Share screen. And Bluey just gets like so much more than anything else, right? Bluey is that only thing doing well. Let's have a look. 1 second. What are the top shows on Netflix? I'm interested. Ashley Madison, Sex License, don't know. Baby Rain, haven't heard of that. Thank You Next, Bodkin. El Rey, I'd never heard of this. A Man in Full, Oste Case, Queen of Tears, Blood of Zeus. I haven't heard of any of these things. Okay. Top movies on HBO Max. Is that movies or TV shows? TV shows. Movies. I wonder the top movies on Netflix. I don't know. Again, I don't recognize any of these ones. Tad and the. I've never heard of Minions. HBO Max has better movies at least. Although, I mean, it's really sad that Oppenheimer's #8 and Barbie's #1. Hey, what a sad indictment of our society. That is, right? But Bluey, right? Bluey, this is like, what is this? Like thousands of minutes watched, 443. Right, so that gets like about 450 a day, whatever this metric is. Does it say at the top of these what this metric is? Full, check it. No. I wish I knew what the metric was. Anyway, so they get 450 a day, and Doctor was getting around 100, right, for 1 day. That was it, right? So Bluey is huge, and huge. It's going to be huge. They're owned by the BBC, and I think ABC, Australia Broadcasting Company, right? I think they're in it. So I don't know. Maybe they need to keep Doctor Who so they can keep running Bluey. Maybe that might be the play. But having said that, now I'm saying it out, I don't see that being so likely. I understand them being initially eager to make a deal, but it's an expensive show that's failing, right? And most expensive shows that fail only get one season. I'm kind of ambivalent about 1 or 2 seasons, but it's what they shoot up front, right? I'm kind of ambivalent about Andor season 2 because that did really pick up at the end of season 1. I wish somebody would do a fan edit of that, right? If you could edit Andor down to, I don't know, 2 hours, right? 3 hours max, you would have an awesome Star Wars movie, right? You'd have a really interesting thing. 3 hours, right? Yeah, I think that's about as much plot there was in it. But as soon as they got to the Empire prison, that was pretty good, right? Everything after that, everything before that, it was like a show made entirely from cutscenes. You know, like the scenes deleted scenes, right? Where you go, oh, I see why they cut it out. It's boring. It didn't really move the story forward at all, right? That's the deleted scene. So that's Andor. But yeah, most of everything only gets one season. I mean, it's things are performing as poorly as Doctor Who is. They only get one. They're going to get 2 because they've already filmed the second season. But I don't know. I understand the idea of making a deal to take this show in a package where you're getting Bluey as well, right? But like now you got the data. It's very bad, right? It's you know, it's like that bit in Star Trek. Was it Yesterday's Enterprise where he calls Captain Garrett over, said, "Oh, things are going very badly, Captain Garrett." Right? It's like it's looking bad for the vet. That's where they are now, right? They're saying this in hushed tones between themselves. It's really, really gone objectively badly, and it's the story, right? The story is how it's gone bad. So what I'm saying, I actually feel bad for Rusty Davies because he chose the exact same millisecond, right, to scream about diversity and fringe sexuality, right? Try and make fringe sexuality normal when the bubble had finally burst, right? The thing about the schools, the schools can't teach gender dysphoria anymore. Whatever they got, they can't teach like. I don't think they're allowed to teach gender. What is that? What's the word I'm thinking of? Gender fluidity. The idea that you're born in the wrong body, right? What was it? That was on here. 1 second. That was now I remember where I got to go. I got to go to my YouTube. It'd probably be an easier way to find this. YouTube. Don't want to view my channel. I want to get the history. What's going on? Right? I can't find anything here. It's a little thing that says you. Now I want to find. Did they just redesign YouTube? Because I'm kind of annoyed with it. Subscription. Okay, what's you? Switch accounts, Google account. No, I want my view. I think I found it. Where is it? Really? Oh, wait, here. No, view all. Okay, really? I really suck at doing this. Unbelievable. It was a thing. There we go. Fine. Let me download that. Download. Download straight away. Blimey. You never can tell now, right? Things might take forever. It might be really quick. We've got a ton of trailers I want to look at, right? I like the Dune one, the Sisterhood one. I thought that looked rocking, right? I saw Nerderotic hated it. I don't know. Listen, love Gary, right? And I think he deserves every ounce of success that he has, right? I started this channel because of Gary. Nerderotic. I think he's being a touch reactionary, right? Although I realized today because I was watching Type 40 there. Was it from a day or so ago? I think it was Tuesday, right? And they were having a discussion about the news era, and the entire panel decided. Well, the only 3 people had watched it had decided it wasn't woke, right? And I was like, well, no, I think it's very, very woke, right? But yeah, it occurred to me today. This is actually a legitimate fan conversation. We could actually have a discussion, a disagreement, right? I don't mind if somebody doesn't think it's woke, but I think it's a real good, interesting conversation that we're able to have. Anyway, what was I going to say about woke? Is it woke? Yeah, no, I mean, listen, he jumped in. Oh, yeah, this is it. This is like the exact opposite world that Rusty Davis lives in. Oh, wait a minute. Should I wait before we get to this? Yeah, well, I'm going to wait before I get to this because I want to juxtapose it with the Rusty Davis interview. Where, look, how did this happen? How did it go down so badly? Well, weirdly enough, we're finding out a lot of things. You know, the Donald Trump trial they have right now in New York. So Donald Trump is on trial for paying off Stormy Daniels, a porn star, to keep quiet about having sex with him, right? And it's a weird case because there's no merit to it at all. This was a filing thing, right? It's an accountancy filing thing, which is a misdemeanor, which is out of date, like it's beyond the statute of limitations. So they changed the law to turn it into a felony as long as there's an underlying crime. And they never produced the underlying crime, right? They tried to make the argument this was election interference, but you would have to have Trump pay from like his campaign fund to be able to pay. So anyway, right. The whole thing swirls around this like really scuzzy lawyer, Michael Cohen, and it's always a Jew. Oh, it's always so embarrassing, right? This really scuzzy lawyer, right? Who made the payment and then invoiced the Trump organization to be reimbursed. So he paid Stormy Daniels $250,000, something like that, right? And then to be reimbursed. So it's come out recently that, firstly, it was congressional testimony yesterday, you know, like under oath, that he had nothing on Trump, right? There was it was the weaponization of the justice system, I think, panel, and you had the lawyer who was interviewing, who you had that guy, Michael Cohen's lawyer, and he said, like, hey, what do you have on Trump? As long as you have something dirt on Trump that is true, I can get you out of anything. And he didn't have anything, right? He told him over and over again, I have no dirt on him whatsoever. So it gets a little bit sadder when you find out what's really going on. It's the Michael Cohen refinanced, like got a second mortgage on his house to pay off this porn star, right? And didn't tell Trump about it. What was going on apparently is that he was trying to get into Trump's good graces, like trying to get into his inner circle so he could get a job in the government, essentially, right? So and he says, oh, you know, if I just take care of this myself, Trump likes go-getters. Trump likes people who just take care of everything, right? If I take care of it, he'll be so happy, right? Didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way. But so they asked him, well, why did you refinance? Why did you get the second mortgage? Right, to this. At the time he said, oh, because there wouldn't be a paper trail. But like you could just take the money from your bank account, assuming that you had it. He said, my wife controls the family finances. I can see why. This guy's a doofus, right? This guy's a total doofus. So he couldn't take the money without her finding out. So that's why he had to remortgage the house. I don't know. But it's like, I would say it's all falling apart, but finding out his motivation, I feel bad. I feel it's sad for him. And then anyway, I was starting off saying I feel bad for Rusty Davis, right? Just in the exact wrong moment, right? Got into the uber wokery in the mainstream in the exact the minute it bust, apparently, right? The exact microsecond it bust. But before we move on, I've got to show you this. This is crazy. There's a lot crazy, right? There's a lot crazy we're going to get to, but this is particularly crazy. Oh, man, there's that as well. Oh, there's so many things I want to look at. Oh, she cried. Well, firstly, can somebody explain this to me? This is really weird. Like, do you think he saw it beforehand? What the fuck's up with that? Like, what, like, what's up with that? Why is it a satanic king? I tell you, this king is going to be the polar opposite of his mother. I don't. Do you see him being on the throne in 5 years? I don't at all. Right? Look. Well, what is up with that? Who goes? Oh yeah, let's do that. I mean, it's just weird, right? I mean, I think it's the only way you can describe it. Just weird. What should we look at? Fine. This is again. This is who Russell T Davies wants as his viewer, right? This is exactly who he wants as the viewer.
This got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question.
It wasn't a very reasonable question. And when you start saying "so" like that, you know it's not going to be. It wasn't a reasonable question.
I'm flying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know: are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time? You know.
No, I don't. Be on time to Be on time to your job, or be on time to wherever. You've got to be on time when your plane takes off, for example. No, it's a completely reasonable question.
Then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then
he was mortified with embarrassment because you're an idiot, entitled idiot moron.
When we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that.
Well, what do you think that was? Because you're a moron, right? You're like an idiot, entitled moron. He started saying to me, yelling at me, saying
accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job.
That's true, right? That is true. I mean, you can work at McDonald's; they'll fire you. You'll never be able to get a career, right? But yeah, that's true.
You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, "Your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace."
Yes, they do. COVID was a disaster. Lockdown was a disaster for these people, right? It was a disaster. It's a feckless, useless generation that can't get terrified of outdoors, right? I'm somewhat insulated from it here in Israel, where we're a bit more sensible, right? But like, still, it's this fear of interacting with others. I mean, again, most of my kids are pretty much okay with it, right? But this fear of interacting with others live is just like, it's a nightmare, right? It's a nightmare.
And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time.
It's those things of struggling and being on time. You're paid to do work. You're paid to get there at that time. If you that's a important part of the employment agreement, right? It's not okay not to be on time, you idiot, vacuous moron.
When there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just...
Okay, no, you don't need to look to other solutions. You need to just get your ass out of bed. Not want ponce around going, like, no. Hey.
Anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that?
It's called working. Working sucks. Most people don't like working. I mean, look, if you're lucky, you get a job that you feel fulfilling. But most people don't. Most people work because, like, look, I'm typesetting a book right now. I have to say, I'm really happy because my client is just like the greatest mensch I've ever met. He is wonderful. Interesting thing, though, I have to tell you, the best clients I've had, apart from this guy, right? I've been religious Christians, like, because I normally work for like Jews, especially religious Jews, right? And then, there's a lot in the stereotypes about dealing with Jews. That is true. Like getting paid, things like Christians are like, oh, praise the Lord. take the money. Can I give you more? I mean, well, okay then. Okay. Them and Mormons, they are the nicest people ever. Oh my God, Mormons are insanely nice, right? I always like. Have you ever seen The Frisco Kid? It's a Gene Wilder movie where he plays this like rabbi from like Lithuania or somewhere in the 1880s, and he's sent over, and he's like the worst student in his rabbinical ceremony, and he's sent over to America to be a rabbi somewhere. And it's like cowboy times, and he gets like beaten up and robbed, and basically he makes friends with this cowboy, Harrison Ford. I forgot it's Harrison Ford, right? What was I going with it? Frisco Kid. Oh man, that was going to be a great illustration of what I was just talking about, but I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Anyway, look, being on time is quite important, darling.
Yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is why they're all into communism. They think they won't have to work and be able to live.
And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system?
What kind of stupid ask question that? I feel fine when I'm able to pay my rent, right? When I'm able to go and go out for dinner. I feel pretty darn good about myself. It's called having a work ethic, right? I mean, okay, look at her background, right? She's got like these girly little curtains and like a cuddly toy octopus. It's time to stop being a kid, and grow up.
And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people...
Oh, the thing, you are insanely entitled, right? Oh my God, that you can't understand that you have to be at your job on time. You are insanely entitled.
I think it's okay to treat others like this. That's entitlement.
Okay, that you would think that's entitlement means you're insanely entitled. Like, what would we live in? You know, yeah, I think it's time to call in the big guns. That's what I think. I think it's time to call in big guns. And here are the big guns. Here they go.
Good Lord, tell them drink some. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack Dale's got a history. There's a party downtown near.
Oh man, I want to see this movie, right? I want to read this comic book. Who we got? Elvis. We had who was before Elvis? And what was the first one? It's Uncle Jesse. Oh, Blues Brothers, Uncle Jesse, and Boss Hogg. I like that they're working together. Now, is that Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane, or is that the guy from the James Bond movies? Oh, was it the same guy from Smoking the Bandit? This is totally Bandit. That they're the only ones that can help us now, right? That is the most awesome super team, right? Absolutely most awesome super team. Fine, let's what should we do? Okay, we'll do one more thing. Then we got to get to chat. I got so much stuff to look at. We got to preview Boom. We got to look at the fallouts going on. Insane! Oh my God, insane! What do you do first? House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, or Dune Prophecy, or Megapolis, which actually looks really interesting. Looks like one of Coppola's best movies, which I like Coppola a lot, right? I do like Coppola a lot. Let's look at the Dune one, because that one really excited me. Listen, I'm somebody, I've just rewatched Dune Part 2, and I like Dune a lot, right? I have a Dune folder where I think, do I have every adaptation of Dune there? Here, one second, let me have a look. And I've read all the book. Well, I've read all the books up until all the Frank Herbert books, right? I haven't read the Kevin Anderson ones, where I'm vaguely interested, but I don't know. And so I like the movies as well. Here was it, Dune. What is this, the right folder, or am I in the wrong? Am I on the wrong drive? Right? Yeah. Okay. Fine. So let me just show you how much I like Dune, which is a lot, right? Which is a lot. I guess because I watched the David Lynch one when I was a kid, and that I dug that. So we got we got the 1984 extended. I should really put the date in on this one. We got the 2001, I think, miniseries, which I liked a lot. A lot of people don't, but I like that a lot. I think again, they're spending too much money making TV, right? I'm fine with there being a lower budget on TV, right? I really genuinely am. And then we got the Children of Doom, which came out a couple of years later, which again, I like that a lot. And also, I tell you what, I don't have in this folder, Jodorowsky's Doom, which is one of the best documentaries around. Then I got the Denis Villeneuve Dune, both in 4K and 1080, right? So all these are 1080. And the 84 extended one, right? So I like Dune a lot, right? I am kind of unashamedly a fan. I've always been interested in it. I mean, I was really fascinated with the David Lynch one, where it was 84, so I was 13. I was like, well, this is something like I've never seen before, right? Even though it was reasonably shit, in a lot of ways, it was. I mean, look, David Lynch was the wrong fit to direct it. Carl McLachlan, I like it, but it was like, of the cinematic Dunes, of the adaptations of Dune, I think it's probably, I don't know, it's one I'm most affectionate to, but I think also think it's the weakest in a lot of ways. I mean, it departs mostly from the book. Anyway, so I just finished watching Dune Part 2. I watched Dune Part 2 recently, so I could watch Austin Butler's performance. Now I know who he is. Because everyone's talking about what a great actor Ncuti Gatwa is. No, he's not! I'm sorry. Austin Butler, he's a good fucking actor. Man, I've seen him in 2 things, and he's dominated the screen in everything he's been in. In like every scene he's in, he dominates the screen. He's fantastic in Dune as Fayed, was it? The Baron Fayed. And also, the bit where they introduce him was one of my all-time favorite bits from the book. They changed it a little bit, right? In the book, if you haven't seen the movie, it's his, I don't know, birthday, coming of age day, some kind of day, right? And he's in this like giant battle stadium, and he's got the last 3 Atreides, the good guys, which he's going to fight. But in the book, I think it was only 1, and they didn't drug. Normally, they drug them before they attack. So in the movie, again, it's been a long time since I read the book, so it might be very accurate to the book. So they drugged 2 of them, but not the 3rd one. And so it's a real fight, right? That's one of my favorites. So in the book, I think he cuts himself and he puts the Atreides logo on his leg or something like that. It was really cool, right? I really, really liked that scene. I was always upset it was never in any of the adaptations. It was really done well here, right? It was especially with Austin Butler. So I watched that recently. The only thing I didn't like about it is the ending, which I thought the ending of the book, which is the other versions, the end of Dune is an ending, right? It's an ending. It's more of a cliffhanger in this, because they're going into Dune Messiah, which I think is a great idea, right? I think it's a great idea, and then you can get another director in the same vein to do Children of Dune, God Emperor Dune, whatever. Each one becomes its own thing after time. Question is, I think one of the later books, Heretics of Dune, maybe. I think it's Chapter House, right? Chapter House, which is it takes place over thousands of years, and you have the coolest character in that book. Is he called Miles Tegg? He's like this battle strategist, like badass, but he's from this line of he's from the genetic line from one of the main characters on the first book, Duke Leto Atreides. Right, so it's the same actor. Will they get Oscar Isaac to play Miles Tegg? That would be wild. I would be so up for that. Right? Oh man! So as you can hear, I quite like Dune. I haven't read again the Kevin Anderson stuff, but this is what this is based on. Coming to HBO Max. Interesting step up in the streaming wars, by the way. We got HBO Max and Disney Plus are joining together for a joint subscription, as is. Who else? Paramount, right? What's the other one? What was the other streaming service? It was Paramount, Apple, and there was one other. Like Paramount, who gives a shit? It's not a real service, right? I can't remember. What's that for the streaming service? I don't know. Maybe is it Netflix? No. Yeah, 1 second. Let me look this up, because now I'm really enjoying it. Apple Plus bundle with the Paramount. Comcast has Netflix, Peacock, and Apple TV in a bundle, and you're also going to get the HBO Max, or Max as they call it now, and Disney in another bundle. So they're consolidating, which is good news for us. Anyway, this is going to be the Max one, which is makes it worth getting. They also have House of the Dragon, which looks very good as well. Let's have a look.
10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, before the universe would know us as the Bene Gesserit.
So I like this is continuing the Denis Villeneuve visual aesthetic. It feels like we're in the same universe, right? And one of the things I like about doing it is how it like takes place over a massive canvas over thousands of years, right? Which I really like. I think it's kind of like Game of Thrones in that respect.
Bene Gesserit. We founded a sisterhood.
So again, the whole idea of the founding of the Bene Gesserit, who were basically hookers. They would sleep with lots of people to be able to control all these great houses.
Assigned to the great houses to help them sift truth from lies.
Oh, what's his name? I like that guy. Tom. What's his name? Strong. Okay, but with him as a major player, I think it's going to be good.
Truth from lies. We created a network of influence throughout the Imperium.
So again, it's got that cool Game of Thrones politics running through it. Look, to me, this looks like something I would actually get a subscription to HBO Max for, or Max. I can't stop calling it HBO Max. Like, I'm sorry, once you get something in my head, it's hard to get. Like, we have the town next to me is called Alfie Menasha, right? Which, it doesn't matter. And whenever we drive past it and I see the sign, I always go, Alfie! Look. I like that period in EastEnders when Alfie Moon was in charge of the Queen Vic.
But power comes with a price.
A sister on the throne. Nothing is more important. And this is
Again, this is something that's really leading into the type of television that Game of Thrones is. This looks good to me. I'm really up for this.
a marriage that makes it possible. This is us playing God, and we will be judged for it.
Yeah, so we got all the cool aesthetics going on. Doom Prophecy.
Sisterhood above all.
What is that? That looks familiar. That looks familiar. Let me look it up. Doom Prophecy. Television series. What does Emily Watson? That's who it is. Travis Fimmel. I like him a lot as well. He was in a great show called Raised by Wolves, right? Mark Strong. It's got a good cast. It's got a really great cast. Shirley Henderson in it as well. Blimey. Okay. And you know what? This is something that leans into being female centric without it being obnoxious about it. Like actually kind of work, right? I mean, didn't recognize anybody else. Indira Varma. She is in everything, right? She's in every TV show. Especially prestige TV. She's the one from Torchwood, right? Yeah. She's in literally everything. She's going to be in Doctor Who soon. She was in Game of Thrones. She's Torchwood. But like literally every show I see, she turns up in. Right? I even if you don't see her on screen, she's probably hiding. Like she's probably behind the sofa or something. Anyway, with that, because I'm trying to push forward. We got to get to the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the eye candy? Because we like the yes, I did. I am very proud of my thumbnail today, right? Very, very proud. You've done well. You've done well, Rabbi. That's what I say. Rosie Davis, new queer era of Doctor Who faces. Should have said heavy backlash. You've been naughty, Doctor Who. And now it's time for the backlash. Oh, so naughty. I just think it gets funnier with the Lala Ward Romana in the background. And you know, what makes it even funnier is like she's so uptight, right? And such a like. I mean, honestly, she's married to what's the name, Captain Arsehole Dawkins, and like always walks around being so superior. She would hate being sexualized like this. I'm like, well, I think that makes me have to do it then. Look, if you were an uptight, what's the word I'm looking for? An uptight elitist cunt. I wouldn't be ripping the piss, darling. I wouldn't be. And Perry, well, you know, I ripped the piss because you're just gorgeous, honey. It's not my fault, okay? You got to blame John Nathan Turner. You're a very healthy, well, very healthy young woman. Now you're a very healthy, mature woman, and you know, they squeeze you into spandex in the worst point of my life, the best way. And now you're trapped in my spank bank, baby. There's no escape. There is no escape from the spank bank. Let me tell you, no escape whatsoever. And then Saturday, I don't know what channel I'm going to be on. I got the strike on Friday, right? Like Friday at around 9 o'clock, right? So it's supposed to be 7 days, and so it's supposed to be Saturday at 9, Sunday at 9, Monday 9, Tuesday 9, Wednesday 9. Thursday 9. So it should have one more day to go as of 9. It says I've got 3 more days to go right now. I think they just want to stop me live reviewing Doctor Who. Darling, you can't stop. You can't stop the signal, right? I think they want to stop me live reviewing Doctor Who, right? Which and you know what? It's so when you go, why would the BBC be bothered about me? They are. Oh, they are. Right? Listen, if Rusty Davis knows Faris, believe you me, he knows who I am as well. Russell, darling, come on the show. I just want to help you, mate. I just want to help you, and I can help you. Anyway, with that, let's get to oh, so naughty. That just makes me laugh so much. I'm sorry. Nicola, you've done us proud, darling. Fine, where are we up to? YW2324. Hopefully, Boom will at least be watchable. There's a question. I don't think Devil's Called was watchable, and I think Space Favors was deeply mediocre. No, it was unwatchable because it was woke as shit as well, right? In my opinion, it was super woke. So yeah, I think they're both reasonably unwatchable. Yeah, up a little bit. Press the wrong button. There we go. Doink. We'll do that. Doink. There you go. Fine. Breaking news. Lolly's being naughty. I still haven't listened to it. I nearly listened to it today as well. Head over to Dr. Alex's channel to check out Lonnie's Doctor Who story, Space Ghost Assassin, right? I love the way Dr. Alex puts them together. They're a lot of fun. It's a Capaldi Doctor. Go for it. So I'm not going to even read that out. I'm going to get in trouble, right? And Matthew Brown says, if only. No! The last thing you want to happen, I mean, on many levels, but the last thing you want to happen is Ncuti Gatwa to be killed. Because what happened then? He'll become a saint and a martyr, right? And everybody go, oh, his Doctor Who was so great. Oh, and nobody's going to be able to say shit because he's dead, right? He's not dead, right? Nobody. So you don't want that to happen, right? You want this Doctor to just take away, which it is, right? Before your bloody eyes, man. Will it take? Here's the question: will it take the entire franchise with it, right? For me, I'm fine with going back to what it was like in, '98, right, or 2001, right? I'm fine with that. We have so much, and also a few years from now, it can't be long until we get really good AI at our fingertips. Darren Evans here, doing Darren. Thank you for joining us. Matthew Barrett says, Boom is solid, serious sci-fi. However, I doubt the actor Gatwa will be able to make it shine. I mean, honestly, and somebody gave me shit about this in the comments, that I don't think he's as bad as Jodie Whittaker in the role, right? I really don't. I think I would watch every Doctor before him, right? Not even, I mean, frankly, I'm on a very classic tear right now. Oh boy, am I enjoying the 4K Doctor Who? Man, they are huge files. Yeah, one second, let me show you what. Do I have them here? Yeah. We go doink over here. Right, my 4K Doctor Who collection is growing nicely, right? Let me share it with you. I will show you again where to get it because it's $3, right? It's so worth supporting this guy, right? It's so worth supporting him. Here, 1 second. Doink. But here, I'll show you where am I? When I first started trying to watch my TV, it was flickering. It wasn't really connecting. There was something wrong with it. Now it seems to settle down. They play beautifully, right? These are really, really good upscale. So here, let me show you what I got so far. We're up to I got the Mind Robber. Again, these things are huge. Like, how big are they? Okay, so have a guess how big the Mind Robber is. It's like 30 gig, right? It's huge. Mind Robber, demons, I should say. Deadly Assassin, Earthshock, Remembrance of the Dark. Remembrance of the Dark looks great. And Battlefield, sadly, they only have episode 1. What I really like in Earthshock is they have the new effects in them, right? So, man, fandom has you covered for everything, right? So 4K Doctor Who. Forget going to buy the Blu-ray box, and I love the Blu-ray box sets. But these upscales are freaking incredible, right? Absolutely incredible. So you got that going on. Here, let me give you show you this guy. Share screen. Doink. Yeah, the upscaling project. Again, to be able to access it, you got to pay $3 a month to his Patreon. I think it's totally worth it, right? I think it's totally worth it. So you got that going on, right? And then if you like new effects like I do, there's Cunning Monkey, and which again, just freaking excellent. The work he does. In fact, what I'm about to watch, the next thing I'm going to watch is what's it called again? Not Invisible Enemy. A couple after that, it's Sunmakers, right? And the version I'm going for is 100% not Robots of Death. It's 100% his new effects, right? It's so good, right? And same thing for Underworld, right? I like his new effects a lot. So you got that kind of. We're talking about 3D printing, AI. Man, we don't need Doctor Who on TV, frankly. I really, especially the way that media's going, we don't need that anymore. And frankly, yeah, I find it just a distraction to actual Doctor Who. Right? I am very nostalgic from the 1990 to 2005. Right? That was a good time in fandom. Amazingly, that was really actually a good time in fandom. It was a good time in my life. I don't know. Anyway, Darren M, how you doing, Darren M? The following episode is an anti-Brexit. Oh, fuck off, Russell. As it has the Welsh actor playing a right-wing politician. Proud Brexiteer here, Russell. I mean, there's so much politics in it, right? There is so much politics in it. And it's not just politics. It's an idiotic take on divisive politics. It's just bonkers, right? Absolutely bonkers. Southern Engines said, yes, the Southern Engines. Why didn't Jim not think of doing musical episodes? God, man, because then we could find out Jodie as well as act. You know, we'll find out you can't sing and dance either. Do you remember that Centrinians video? Let me see if I can find it. Centrinians music video. Is this the one? Girls Aloud? No, this is that the one? Oh man, Tallulah Riley. I forgot she was in Centrinians. Man, Tallulah Riley is just insanely hot. Right? Is she still married to Elon Musk? Is this the one? Oh wait, is this the video? I think it's been deleted from the screen. It's too embarrassing. But you got Jodie Whittaker dancing in it, and boy, she's not a good dancer. Let me tell you, she's not a good dancer. Here, let me have a quick look at this one. I'll turn the sound off. Because if I can get that clip, it's brilliant, right? It's totally brilliant. Oh, God, I got to wait. How much? 15 seconds? See, I don't know. I didn't mind a 2-minute ad break on TV. That 15 seconds on YouTube, I'm like, what? Yeah, let me just scoot through this. If this is the one with, no, it looks like it's just Girls Aloud. Oh, maybe. No. Oh, yeah, it could be that one. No, it's not that one. Man, I can't believe St. Trinity's didn't go further. Like a bunch of hot, insanely hot women dressed as schoolgirls. I just think that seems like something that would sell. Reminds me, is George Cole still alive? George Cole, the original Flash Harry, right? And honestly, I think Russell Brand was a good casting as Flash Harry. No, this isn't the one, which is a real shame. Oh, I wish I could find that. I wish I could. It's so embarrassing, right? It's so insanely embarrassing. Anyway, I forgot to put the thumbnail back up. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Fine, where are we up to? Fine, I never finished reading Sunray. Yes, why didn't Chip not think of doing a musical episode? We're gonna bolt the whole house down with the stunning and brave singing voices, with the Daleks as backups. Oh, Icky Foop! Yeah, she would have liked that. Amazingly, they found somebody more of a narcissist than Jodie in shooting. Right? It's rare. I just thought he'll be able to bring it. I did. I really did. Guess not. Digby Strawbridge is here. Digby Strawbridge. Thank you for joining us. Mark Cook is here. Seeing Matt's I Am the Doctor scene every Thursday on Rabbi's channel makes me feel sad how the show is such a bit. It is sad. It really is sad. And the question is, 52D plus views. I think it's about that. That says Lonnie. That's what's rumored at, like 50,000. It's like it's doing so badly. It's an absolute disaster. But that's the first thing to talk about. It's been an absolute disaster, and it's basically reality meeting delusional fantasy. When I say delusional fantasy, be Russell's view of what the world is. Yeah, that's the first story we're going to get to after the chat, because that's something we really need to talk about, right? It's absolute cray-cray, right? Absolute cray-cray. Kensington is here. He says, I realized this morning that I like 2005 Who so much it made me interested in Russell Davies' early work, Queer as Folk, but seeing Russell Davies turning Doctor Who into Queer as Folk makes me resent him and kills my interest in Queer as Folk. That is so true, right? I mean, this Doctor Who is tainting, which I think is his best work was It's a Sin, right? It's really tainting it. But again, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Where are we up to? Matthew J. I'm pretty sure I said hello to you. I'm pretty sure. Who knows? If I haven't, I have now. Christian Bridges is here, who's laughing at something or other. He heard something and he's laughing. I don't know what I said. But okay, we're here. Michael Benitez is worst week for Doctor Who since last week. Next week, maybe even worse. No, because it's like now it's on the brink of just fading into obscurity, right? No one gives a shit anymore. They basically blew it. They blew it at the launch, right? It's just not good enough to bring people back. Sadly, right? It just isn't, right? It just isn't. Man, real tragedy. We had, I think this was the 4th or maybe 5th soldier was killed today from my town, right? Oh, man, that's a lot. I don't live in a big place. 5 kids already, yeah, like 20-year-olds, killed in combat. Friendly fire as well. Oh, that's the worst, right? I really look. Friendly fire is so. I feel so terrible for everybody involved, because you know that the soldiers involved are going to be like mortified with themselves, right? But here's the thing: modern combat, you don't see who you're who you're shooting at. You get ordered to fire at a target, you fire at a target. But it's been the second really terrible incident of friendly fire. Although Matt, nobody's reported about this at all. I have a theory about this. No one's reported about this at all. So the UN came out recently and said, "Oh yeah, you know how we said it was 35,000 civilians been killed? Yeah, we don't know that. Turns out that Hamas journalists, and there are a lot of them, made that claim and then they reported it as if it was real, right? So apparently it's they questioned, well, wait a minute, how come all these 35,000 is only women and children and no gun? And also when they say children, it could well be a 19-year-old with a Kalashnikov. That's what it is, like 8 times out of 10. And no terrorists, right? None whatsoever. So Israel says they killed just north of 15,000 terrorists so far, right? My son, my wife asked my older son when he was doing signing out, he's not allowed to talk about. My wife asked so have you killed anyone? My son says no. I would never hurt anyone. We've taken out a lot of terrorists. So there you go. Did you catch the John the White and Cobster detailing the blues? No, but I know that they did, and I heard it on Clownfish TV today. Right, so yeah, I believe Gobster. I should really put his channel with him. Gobster and in the chat. If anybody could do that, thank you very much. Talk about. I believe you guys did credit down for it, right? But yeah, that story is going crazy. You think it's millions of minutes? I don't know. I don't think it is millions of minutes. But minutes? I think it's depressingly less than that, right? It's much less than that. I don't know. Well, let's look up. What is streaming audiences measured in? Let's see if that comes up with anything. Total views, the number of times a video is initiated or started by a user. The metric proves overall measure of popularity and reach. Yeah, okay. It's been languishing at the bottom, right? And Doomcock is saying that the oh no, wait. No, let me finish the chat first, right? Then we'll get to it. So Colin, I tell you, Kensington says Bluey sounds like something the new Doctor is going to do on screen. I have to avert my eyes. Yes. Mark Cook says Susan thinks that Millie's going to turn out to be Susan's child. Maybe that the woman who's been in every episode is really Susan. Who cares? Again, I don't really see this as real Doctor Who. Funnily enough, I just don't see it as real Doctor Who. The episode is 7 minutes long, says Colin Archer. Bloody hell. I mean, that's really not long. Wait, the classic Dr. Bus are missing. No, they're not. Where are they? We got, I think I have them on. No, yeah, 1 second. Where am I? Oh, here we go. There you go. Doink, up here. About a couple of months ago, I had a major clear out, right? Major clear out. And rearranged a bunch of stuff. Doink. There we go. Fine. Let me start moving with that. Mark the Mega says second class stamp. Always the best way to go, baby. The king being lowered into a bloodbath. I just don't understand that. Right? Charles W.F. Stooge. I think so. Right. Do you remember what was it? The comic strip presents what was it? GLC, right? So you had Robbie Coltrane playing Charles Bronson playing Ken Livingston, right? And the story of the GLC. Man, I thought Ken Livingston was the worst mayor of London ever. And then I saw, whatever his name is. I was going to say Rishi Sunak, but no, it's the other one. He's just awful. God, they're just awful. Fine, Otis, so still low tune. Fine, let me. I'm about 20 minutes in. Mark Lewis is here. Why did Charles unveil the painting of Vigo the Carpathian? That's what I thought when I saw it. Vigo the Carpathian scenes in a new Ghostbusters movie. You know what? I have to tell you, that's one of my favorite Ghostbusters movies. I like the second one a lot, right? I thought that was very good. Frisco Kid is a great movie. I wish I could remember what I was bringing up, though. So Titus, I just finished a 12-hour shift and got to work late. Tomorrow. Life's hard, love. Get used to. Yeah, exactly. Reality hit him in the face, which is happening to Russell Davis right now as well. Titus, I know you're Gen Z. You're one of the normal ones. My kids are the normal ones too, right? You know, they're not. Honestly, nothing is total, right? And I don't want to denigrate your whole generation. In fact, if you are vaguely normal and together, and you're from that generation, you in a previous generation, you would have been like a Superman, because these people are. I don't know. It's not good. How can I have a revolution if all they want to turn up at different times? I know. I mean, look, we saw I forgot to tell you my theory about the campus process. Have you noticed how Israel has kind of vanished from the news in the last week or two? Right? It's really weird, but it's vanished from the news. It used to be people talking about non-stop. And I watch British news a lot, and hardly any mention, right? And it's not like Israel isn't going into Rafah. I know they're in Rafah, right? It's not that big, but they've already done a few buildings. They're in Rafah. 450,000 people have left, from what I understand, right? But there's nothing on the news about it. There's no people going, "Oh my God, genocide, genocide!" None of that at all. I think it's the insidious intelligence services suppressing any conversation about it because it's really hurting them. They're basically fighting back against the TikTok protest, which is what's driving them, right? So you got the Western intelligence agencies who use Facebook and Instagram and Google and YouTube, and I think they basically spiked Israel. They spiked any mention of Israel. I'm like, well, okay, I guess it works for me then. Fine, where are we up to? Fine. I'm sure I said hello to Mark Lewis. Whatever I didn't, I said it now. Paul Townsend's here. Again, Paul Townsend, thank you for joining us. Rabbi, you need a June Alt Redux version. What's that? Okay. Probably the best at sending me on a tangent, right? Is Lonnie, right? He has it down to a fine art. Dune Alt Redux. Dux version. We'll see what comes out. Here we go. Let's see. I think that's the one I got. Is that the extended one? What is it? Hang on. What is the alternative? What is Dune the alternative edition Redux? Okay. It is Redux by Strider that corrects the suspect decision at the fan edit of Dune runs nearly 3 hours long. However, this film never drags, and in what shouldn't be a surprise, with multiple scenes in the right place, the show is significantly more coherent. Well, I've got to check that out. That sounds interesting. Look at that, Lonnie. That might be the one I have, though. It's on YouTube. Really? Wow. There's a 3 hour, 35-minute version. Wow. I don't think I could watch a 3 hour movie on a punt to see if it'd be any better. Where are we up to? Colin Archer says, also a Dune fan. Well, that makes sense, right? You're a man of taste and discernment. And find that each treatment has something for me, but I did find Dune 2 a bit slow. Didn't help that my copy didn't have subtitles for the Fremen. Bloody hell, that would be slow, right? But I think it would have worked better if they had that big ending, like they did in the 84 version, right? Where you got that big Vangelis soundtrack. Down, 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 down. How can this be? He is the Kwisatz Haderach. All that stuff going on, right? And I didn't finish watching the Dune Part 2 because I didn't like the way that his sister wasn't born in that one, or maybe I can't remember. I preferred the David Lynch version, right? But again, it had that big ending, right? Fayed Harkonnen. What's the best pronunciation of Harkonnen you heard? You had Harkonnen in the 84 one, Harkonnen in, I think, is that how they do it in the Dennis Villeneuve one? I can't remember. Agatha All Along premiere September 18th, and I don't care, says Odious Starters. I know. And I like the way that they tried to say that the constant changing of the name was some kind of clever marketing theme. It's called Agatha All Along. Like, what? I mean, like, you got Bob Iger going, oh, yes, we're going to concentrate on doing far less and having the quality better. Excuse me, your less with quality better, I think, is going to be Agatha followed by Ironheart, right? It's like when a shit takes a shit. That's how bad it's going to be, right? The Black Spider Woman in the first one may have been what was left of the traitor's doctor's wife. The Black. That was what's his name? That was the he was in a kind of. They cut that scene out though, didn't they? When he's in like that weird doggy position. Right, when they're reconditioning him, right? And also, look, Brad Dourif as what's the name of the mentat for the Harkonnens? Fade Raban. It was not Pfeiffer. I can't remember, but he was great. Oh man, Brad Dourif in that role was played by the creepy polka dot guy who's in there, the polka dot guy from Suicide Squad. I read just great casting, right? Recommend the Tattoos of Auschwitz on Sky. I'm always a bit apprehensive. I'll probably save that for Tish B'Av, right? Which is the 9th of the month of Av. It's in August, a bit earlier this year, and it's like the day where one mourns. You can give me a link here. It's the day one mourns all the all the pogroms and Holocaust and everything that's happened to Jews over there. Here, let me see if I can find you in the chat saying that. How far are you in? This is about half an hour ago. Let's have a look. Hang on. Upscaling, Dr. Alex, Rabbi on Rumble. I'm just going through looking at the links, right? Dune 2 definitely, in my opinion, suffered having a 3-year time jump that really screwed up Shana's story for starters. Yes. Yeah. Again, I have to give it a proper rewatch, right? Oh, here you go. Doink. You gave me the link. There you go. Now it's opened up. Okay. Again, although I'm telling you, one of my favorite Dune movies is Jodorowsky's Dune. That's awesome, right? The Dune that never was, right? That is absolutely awesome. Where they had like Salvador Dali was going to be the emperor. The whole story behind that was great. Colin Archer, the Bene Gesserit dedicated character, many generations of long breeding programs. Eugenics, anyone? Similar to the Arisians in the Lensman universe comes in. I don't know who they are, but it's a cool idea, right? It's a cool idea. And yeah, that show looks good. I bet the Rabbi will want Nicola Bryant to give him a backlash. Oh, yes. Although, yeah, I have to say, I'm more of a sadist than a masochist. If I'm asking, if I'm given the choice, right, I'll rather go to be the sadist role than the masochist role. That's just me for you, babe. Although, I'll give it a go. I don't mind. I'm open-minded. I'll try something new. MILF Manor is back. I've really got to try. Is that on Netflix? I've really got to try that out. MILF Manor. Centurions, the battle cry, Centurions, we will never. That's the one. But that was a so embarrassing music video. Just under 9 minutes for Eurovision. I figure Doctor Who would have could only dream of. My 20 votes went to Israel. By the way, Paul Tosland. Oh my God, I wish more people knew how awesome like the rest of the world was for like really backing Israel that way. It like. Now, yeah, I understand all your institutions have been captured. Like every institution in every way is completely corrupt, right? Every institution. As I was explaining to our new young rabbi, it's like, yeah, I have no respect for the rabbinos, the institutional rabbis whatsoever. Yeah, I said I called him a fuckwit a couple of times, but he seemed to be okay with it. Cuntface Jones has reported it. Yeah, about the no. But yeah, the point is this. So that means credibly Israel is achieving an unheard of low casualty rate for civilians, right? Normally America, England, they kill 8 civilians for every enemy combatant, right? Couldn't care less. We're doing 1-to-1. Like, we're 8 times better than the rest of the world. And like, oh no, you evil cunt Jews. Those chicks look like Perry Amanda, unless my stream god isn't. No, listen, mate. Andy Kid, I work hard, right? I work hard to make you hard. Fine. As you're new, clearly, let me just show you some past favorites, right? I think this is look, we're behind. There's a lot we need to get to, but man, this is important, right? This is important. Just opening up. I hate the cloud, right? You've always got to download stuff whenever you want to use it. Hang on a second. There's 2 Romanas. You will find it's mostly the same joke repeated over and over again. So where is it? Hang on. The X-Files. Mulder, are you sure the only way to crack the case is me going undercover as a succubus? Well, that's really what I want to believe. And this is exactly the same gag, right? The 2 Romanas. Doctor, are you sure the Routers have infiltrated a 19th century Parisian brothel and we have to go undercover? Well, hopefully not under too much cover, surely. Mrs. Pill, we're needed. Back to the Hellfire Club, I guess. Bit of Tegan action. This was a great one. The female Deadpool, Scarlett Johansson, right? Very proud of that. Very proud. Phoebe Waller-Who. You will find I obsess about Perry a lot. And of course, Alvin Troy, are you sure this is formal wear on Peloton? Well, it's certainly making me stand up to attention. I'm sorry. I shouldn't enjoy my own jokes so much, but I do. Right? Because they're good. Fine, where are we up to? I'm nearly caught up. Sadiq Khan. Yeah, there you go. Do those ladies look like Nicola Bryant? Yes, they do. That was the point, right? Fine. How am I going to Zephyr Master Stormforger. Hello, Zephyr Master Stormforger. Thank you for joining us. I didn't expect something like this on the thumbnail. Say, well, really? You must be new to my channel. I do this as often as I can. PD Rich is here. How you doing, PD Rich? Thank you for joining us. Dear God, Russell Davis got his head up Alex Kurtzman's ass as well. I know. It's like a what was it? Conglomeration of evil. Peter Devris, right? Oh, that's the name of the mentat. Now I'm trying to remember the actor. Was it Devris? Yeah. I think was that the name of the actor or the name of the character? I can't remember. I got to watch Goldwyn with Helen Mirren. That's something I'll wait to see it is on TV. Jesus Franco's version of Dracula is out from 88 Films next week. We'll have to. Okay, that sounds interesting. I do like Dracula, right? I even like the Stephen Moffat Dracula. It turns out Rusty David likes titties after all. Well, he likes making a tit of himself. Anyway, so let's talk about how this has all gone so horribly wrong, right? And it's, again, I started off saying I feel bad for Rusty Davis because he's in a perfect storm right now of failure, right? He's an absolute perfect storm of failure. So let's start looking at this. It explains how this, this Doctor Who, which is really genuinely failing hard, right, came to be, right? It came to be with this interview. So this interview was with Collider, and it's been pulled down already, which... Oh, I don't have a home. So yeah, let's start from about here.
Battles to be fought and votes to be gained. You know, it's like I'm not... and I've been doing this. I've got to say it's what you want from every lead actor in every drama, but when that's Doctor Who, you have a chance to push that to all the extremes. With Space, for me, a massive convergence of stars upon one project. I could not have been luckier. And I...
No, you are sadly deeply unlucky, right? To Rusty Davis, he doesn't realize it's not 2017 anymore.
I think there's something so 2024 about them. I think they're young and they're passionate.
You're talking about Shooty and Millie. Look, I can see you're passionate with Shooty, but Millie, you're fired, darling.
And they're raw, and they're kind of bold.
And they're naked, and they're rubbing their body against me. No, okay.
They're unafraid, and they're limitless.
Well, really, I think your ratings are somehow limited, right? I don't think they're limitless at all.
Which I've got to say is what you want from every lead actor in every drama, but when that's Doctor Who, you have a chance to push that to all the extremes with space babies and monsters and chases and satire and jokes and terror.
I honestly, I don't know. Would I have liked space babies without the heavy-handed politics? No, it was a dumbed down episode. I found it dumbed down, right? I found it dumbed down, right? Here, 1 second. Let me just send a message. You have no idea how hard it is for me to write without reading out what I'm writing, right? Right? You have no idea how difficult that is. Anyway, fine. Let's get to where we.
The situations demand the full range of emotions, and those two deliver hugely.
Honestly, I haven't seen a full range of emotions from Shooty. I mean, again, I don't think he was as epically badly cast as Jodie, and I think he could have been a great Doctor, but like he's okay. I mean, that part of him I think is passable. I don't like his voice at all. I don't think it carries with it timbre or authority, but it's not like awful. Right, Jodie Whittaker was awful. That being said, there's no other Doctor I would want to watch less at any given time. Right? That's where I am with him.
So
absolutely. As a queer person myself.
Oh, who could tell that you're a queer person yourself? What a shock! See, this is the let's have him talk.
Seeing the show just keep leaning more into queer themes and everything, especially since the specials, has been super gratifying.
I'm glad it's been super gratifying for 3% of the population, right? I'm glad that you've been. But here's the thing: you thought it'd be everybody, right? You thought it'd be like you thought it was not, as we're going to hear.
Can you speak about just leaning into that more intentionally?
Yes, it's funny because, to be absolutely honest, it's almost not that deliberate. That's the life that I lead, and
yes, and that's the problem, right? That's what. Again, I wouldn't denigrate anyone for like it's a sin. I think it was his best thing he's ever done. And if you haven't seen it, boy, do I recommend that. It's brilliant, right? It's absolutely brilliant. But the gay lifestyle of the early 80s, as depicted in that first episode, is not something I would want for my children, right? In a straight or gay, it's not about the sexual orientation. It was about the devaluation of sex, and I think sex is something that is powerful and valuable and can be used for. I mean, it's also fun, right? But I think the devaluation of it. It's something that's really detrimental to society. And I think it's like, again, without denigrating anyone, I think it's like that lifestyle is presented in It's a Sin does devalue sex, right? And I think that's really a really terrible message to try and give to kids. Which I think is the message he's trying to give to kids. And
I've been doing this. I wrote a series called Queer as Folk in 1999 that broke down many barriers, and I'm never going to step back from that. No.
That was fine, Russell. That was super fine, right? Everything in its own place. Nobody minded Captain Jack, right? Captain Jack was awesome, but making the Doctor queer, as again, it's not gay. He's queer, and he's super queer, right? I think it's a massive failure.
And in fairness, no one's ever asked me to step back from that. And I just...
Why would you? I mean, it's your ISP, right? It's like, it's who you are.
I just think it doesn't even feel particularly queer to me. It just feels natural.
Exactly, Russell. I'm not saying you are... No, it's not natural for most people, right? What's natural for most people is to, like, marry and have kids, right? That's the norm. That's what normal people aspire to, right?
It is the world, and
no, it's not the world, Russell.
2024, and we're all embracing this. Twitter might kick off, and in dark little corners people might argue, but that's not the real world. The real world is one of acceptance, and with battles to be fought and votes to be gained. You know, it's like, I'm not naive to the problems that exist, but God, it's a more welcoming world. In schools, you know, we now have people who can come out in schools and be happy and thrive, which when I...
Keep it going, Russell. This is not going to work out good.
It was that age was literally impossible. So that's got to be a better world. So I simply
really. So that you think that's the actual world right now? And again, your timing is epically awful, right? Just epically awful. So let's have a quick look at this. We're not going to watch the full clip, but.
Education Secretary confirming today that there will be basically new rules for schools about sex education, nothing below the age of 9. Yes, you can talk about the birds and the bees and, you know, people aren't supposed to touch you in your private parts, things like that sort of stuff, but not actually explicit sex education before the age of 9. And at
Russell Davis couldn't even conceive this was about to happen, right?
no point at any age talking about gender ideology in the way that's saying like, well, yeah, you might be born in the wrong body, or you might be non-binary, and men can become women and women can become men and things like that. That stuff is going to be banned in schools.
Right. It's over, right? He chose the exact millisecond to find out when this entire insanity was imploding. I mean, here, look at this. I think this is a great example of where we're at. Target to limit LGBT pride products to online and select stores after last summer's controversy. It's over, right, Russell? It's not the real world, right, mate? It's not the real world. And you know, I think, look, regardless of if you like this new era or not, right? And I know people like a lot of people like it, right? And there's lots of reasons to like it. But regardless or not, I think it's I think this has destroyed itself. It's only real. I mean, look at this. Right? Okay, this is what they thought was going. This is like reality versus. This is the fantasy meeting reality. Next generation leaders shooting gut with the new face. No, he's not, and he's wearing a dress. And stop. He's wearing a skirt. It's stupid. We're all done with this, right? That's not the future. You want to know what the future looks like? Future looks like that, baby. Edgar Wright talks direct Sydney Sweeney-led Barbarella movie. Oh my god! Oh my god! What a fantastic idea that is! Oh! But here's an indication of I think how badly this new era is doing. You have something like Star Trek Discovery, right? Which is admittedly cack. This is Pirate Bay, and we see. So you do a search for that. You have 3,543 seeds for that, right? So there seems to be reasonable amount of interest. And this is Star Trek Discovery, which has totally lost its way, right? And then you compare that, and again, I think you can always tell when something's doing badly when you can't pirate it, right? With Space Babies, 1,000, right? So Star Trek Discovery, it's going no. I don't think it's connecting with the public anyway. And I think it's because Russell just chose the exact wrong moment, right? The exact wrong moment without realizing his finger very much off the pulse. But the question I have that I want to address right now is it woke, right? Is it woke? So, I know somebody who's about to come on who looked at the first two episodes, so didn't find it woke at all. And I'm not okay. This is the great thing we have right now, right? We can finally have something in Doctor Who we can disagree about, and it's completely fine, right? And it's completely fine that we can do it. But it's an interesting conversation to be had. So anyway, to have this conversation, you know, I have to get somebody filled with. I just thought of a joke that I can't say. That's how bad it was. I can't. No, it's not coming. It's not coming up. No. Filled with the divine. He shouts. Every time I think of something, I'm pissing myself. Fine. He shines out like a light in the darkness. Yes, he's like a string of bat piss. It isn't cool. Stan Hadley's Birmingham's king of the geeks. What are you doing, man?
Oh no, if it was something that even you were afraid to say online, you're not afraid to say anything.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, buddy. How are you?
Praise the good Lord. Well, firstly,
yes, mate.
Who's doing?
Go on, yes.
We have very good news.
Okay.
The very good news is, of course, this is the future, baby.
Hail. She is. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm heartened by the fact I couldn't understand why I fancied her so much. Obviously, she's a blonde, and I don't, generally speaking, I don't go for blondes. But I think she's not a natural blonde. I doubt I'll ever get to find out, but
I don't know. Listen. I'm happy to do the research for you. Right directing as well. I mean, that's really good news, right?
In all seriousness, this is potentially very exciting. You think about the time where he pursued. Well, he developed Ant-Man, didn't he? Before Marvel Studios became a thing, it was his pet project as a very pulpy thing he wanted to do. I think he wanted to set that in the 60s. Heaven knows what he'd do with something like Barbarella. I think he would have a lot of fun making it. I think I'd certainly have a lot of fun watching it. Did you hear the story about the fella?
I really did. I like that he had the last Kevin Spacey movie. He should bring Kevin Spacey back as a villain.
Did you hear about the fella who got chucked out of a screening of whatever that Spider-Man film was that she was in, Madam Web? So a guy got arrested because he was wanking whenever she came on the screen.
Well, you should really wait till it's on streaming, but I can't. Okay, so the question I want to address.
Yeah.
Like, you really dug the first two episodes, didn't you? It was
God, of Doctor Who.
Your experience for you, right?
I think I said at the time I had such a fun early afternoon, early evening watching both of them. I really did.
Right. So, I just found it so woke, right? And you didn't find it woke at all.
Not woke. No, I mean, I've the culture behind the show hasn't changed. I'm well aware that the people who make this show are very woke and ideologically driven. And I'm aware of the place that the editorial position that they have, broadly speaking, but those particular episodes, no, I would argue that they weren't woke. No.
Okay, so I want to let's go with the instances where I found it was irredeemably woke. That really destroyed my any enjoyment of it. So the first one that really leaps to mind is the reference to a progressive left-wing view on any restrictions on abortion, right? So this is like I found. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm fine. I think in yesteryear when they would present arguments, it wasn't so really annoyingly simplistic. They weren't straw man arguments. Like Malcolm Hughes never presented straw mans, right? This was and it was done in one line, right? If you the line was. What was it? So like they said they weren't allowed to stop the reproduction. Firstly, there was and I'm reading into this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. There was a subtext that these birthing machines couldn't be turned off because of the evil Tory government, right? That kind of was the subtext that I got. But again, that one I could let go, right? Because
yeah. I mean, that's the voice of, again, that's nothing that Russell T Davies wouldn't have put in back in 2005, 2006.
He was taking the piss out of Tony Blair, right, with massive weapons of destruction. Right, it felt more. Even
well, I mean, the difference is that my point of consternation and why I don't support the Conservative Party is because they are completely interchangeable with Tony Blair's Labour government. They may wear a blue tie, but they're fairly left wing. The current Tory Party.
Tony Blair's Labour government was more right wing than the Rishi Sunak's Conservative.
Perhaps.
I really would. Like you didn't like.
It's a joke.
It's like they're all just waking up from this gender insanity right now. Oh my gosh, I didn't realise that you were teaching 5-year-olds how to go on Grindr. Right? Yes, you did. We all know it. Anyway, so the point is, the disclaimer I have for all of this is the fact that the BBC programs literally everything from this position of DEI. You switch on literally any BBC show, from the most innocuous 15-minute thing about restoring an antique right the way up to a huge international drama, and you get DEI content influence always popping up. I wouldn't say that's something we're never going to be on board with. I'm never going to hand wave it, but it's a fact of reality. If you turn up
turning on a BBC show and expecting not to see markers of that, it's kind of like turning on EastEnders and expecting there be no Cockneys there. You know, it's something you're not gonna get. Why watch EastEnders if you don't want to see some Cockneys? Why watch anything on the BBC when you're aware of their editorial position and the stuff that they're going to do? So when I say it's not woke, the BBC is, in all intents and purposes, woke. They have a charter. They have a criteria. They have these targets that they are trying to meet. So it's on me as to whether I watch it or not. But as to whether, I think there's a difference between their editorial position and each individual component of a season or a series, like something like Doctor Who. So I'm sure that I could go through. Yeah, obviously there are things like, I noticed that, you know, the captain of those babies was a little black girl, not a little white boy. You know, you could fixate on that, but the thing is though, that's surface level stuff. It doesn't actually matter in the context of the story at all. They don't allude to it. They don't hang around it. It's just is. It's just there. So that's not wokeism at all to me. That's the kind of this is the difference between. Now, for years we've been saying this. Certainly, I have. People like us in this space. We've never been against diversity. What we've objected to is forced diversity. And to me, what we're seeing is the difference now.
The captain being a little black girl baby. That was, you know, that felt like in universe storytelling. But okay, so there's two things that really pulled me out and destroyed my any chance of enjoying this episode. Was, okay, you said they couldn't turn off the birthing machines, and then they deserted them to die, essentially, these babies. So Ruby has the line that they won't stop the babies being born, but they won't look after them after they're born, right? So that is a screaming straw man argument that's been screamed at Christians who are basically pro-life is are Christians. Now, my position is far less extreme than most Christians are. Like, no abortion under most circumstances, right? I'm not that extreme at all. I still go with the 90s, Bill Clinton, safe, legal, and rare. I think that's a good place for a society to be at, right? But anyway, so there's this perception, right? There's a defamatory perception that the places in America where are restricting abortion rights are doing so out of stupidity and evil, and doing it essentially to control women and put them in their place, right? That's the and so there's all that baggage, right? Again, it's a straw man argument that doesn't really work at all, right? Essentially, it's like,
are you aware? You probably might. You're probably not going to be aware of this, but in Britain, there is nowhere near the amount of conversation surrounding abortion in the media or in society as there is in America. Nowhere near. Because obviously in the States, you go from, as I understand it, because I don't know a great deal about American politics, as I understand it, you can go from state to state, and some of them have slightly nuanced laws on such matters as abortion. In Britain, it's not something that we especially talk about. It's something that was kind of the general position. The mindset was decided on it like 30, 40 years ago, and nobody really publicly questions it that much. I hadn't given the topic any real thought throughout most of my adult life. It is far more prevalent. I know a lot of fabulous Americans who I've got to know through the wonder of technology through doing this, who have very strong feelings about it on both sides. That's got me thinking about it some more. But in Britain, it is not a specifically hot button topic. And so when something like that is on screen, like all this just go completely past me. I just thought it seemed like just a bit of dystopian framing for an amusing situation that got you to look at. I just didn't see it on this sort of level. And even now when you're explaining it to me what you saw in it, I'm actually thinking, well, I'd actually look at it a slightly different way. You're probably right. If Russell put that in, he probably is coming from that place. But the fact that it's not clear, the fact that I personally didn't notice, and I don't think anybody could have claimed to have been lectured about it. It doesn't break the spell. It does none of this break. You could argue it's a theme, it's a topic, it's an editorial seam that's underneath it. But the driving thrust of the story, the adventure storytelling, the escapism, that is what powers this show. That's what we've been asking for. We don't want to be lectured. We don't want this. We don't want that. We want respect the fan. All that stuff. I don't feel any of that. I don't feel any of that was fractured last week.
I couldn't escape because I know this issue very well, right? Essentially, it's like this, right? This is driven by the American argument. So the American argument, you have two extremely polar opposite views. You have the West Coast, the New York, the LA view, which is no restriction on abortion, even postpartum, right? There's literally you could have an abortion as a baby's coming out, right? There's no, and most people are not on board with that really. So you have you have the other states who are more Christian. They have a very different morality where they feel like life is precious, life is something that you can't just get rid of for community, and you are probably killing a baby.
I understand. I understand the two positions.
Yeah, but to present the pro-life position in a very dismissive way, which Russell Davies is clever enough, he could do that with a single line, and he did that, and he tapped into that whole seam of a disingenuous straw man defamation of a very central worldview to a lot of people, right?
But that's not the theme of the episode at all, though, is it?
No, it's not the theme. It was like the needle being pulled off a record.
I mean, we do get a peek inside Russell's view, perhaps because I don't know. We get a view inside Russell's mind, perhaps, of where he could be coming from about a certain topic. But it doesn't really connect with the driving force of the storyline. I accept that it broke the spell for you and probably other people, but it didn't for me. It didn't for me. And I'm far from alone. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who've messaged me about this. People from all sides of the aisle, people from our side of the aisle who were afraid to speak, people who were afraid to admit that they enjoyed this. That's wrong. That shouldn't be happening. It's a TV show. We're not part of some grand campaign. Well, I certainly don't consider myself to be a culture warrior. I'm a podcaster and I talk about Doctor Who. I love the show and I am generally very generous in my attitude towards it and how I receive the stuff, which is why I reacted so badly to the spite in which it was driven and the stories were told by Chris Chibnall. It had this air, this tone of spite about it. It's like night and day compared to this stuff. Russell's voice is still Russell's voice is still unmistakable, right? But I don't feel there's anything remotely spiteful about any of this.
No, I mean, it's something very different, right? This time, I'm not sure if you heard in the interview. They pulled that down from Collider already, where he's talking about like this is 2024. This is what everybody thinks. This is the worldview, and it's not. The bottom line is that the people have had enough of this.
No, Russell, right? and this is, and people seem to think because I enjoyed a few episodes of Doctor Who, that means that I'm some sort of completely of one-minded by this. Oh, excuse me, I apologise. 1 second. People think that I'm completely sort of single-minded about this. No, I think Russell T Davies is making an absolute tool of himself. I think he's desperately behind the times. I hate to say it, I do think he's past his best, completely ideologically captured by all of this, and thus intellectually compromised. However, did I enjoy myself in front of the telly for 45 minutes last Saturday?
That's my question, right?
I did.
Absolutely.
And Russell's, and way back in the noughties, There were always little lines like that. They weren't so much the political. I'm not the most political of people, but there were lines and moments in his original era, which I love, which did make me go, oh, really? But they never spoiled the episode for me, and neither has this, certainly in episodes 1 and 2. And I was dreading the Devil's Cord. I was expecting to fucking hate that.
I don't understand how that was like... I mean, that was less woke than the first episode, in my opinion. I think it had a incredibly strong background radiation of woke, right? It was written around Jinx Monsoon, and again,
it seems to have been.
You go back to 2008, right, and you see this clearly male person who's calling himself as they, wearing like very sexualized makeup and heels, and you'd be like, what? It, but they made us get used to this shit over the last few years, right? So that wasn't as jarring as it really should be.
Again, the position that I'm in there is that I've spent a year stating over and over again that Jinx Monsoon should never have been cast in Doctor Who on principle, regardless of how talented they are. Never cast in this show on principle, shouldn't be speaking about it, shouldn't be anywhere near this brand. I've said that consistently for well over a year. I still feel that way. However, for my own sanity, as well as the fact that the conversation must move on, I do not spend my time making my content. I know there are other people that feel differently and behave differently, and they can do them, I do me. I prefer not week in, week out to just keep talking about the same thing. The fact is, Jinx Monsoon was cast. It's up to me whether I watch. Bear in mind, that's how I feel about Jinx Monsoon being cast a year ago. I've stated it over and over and over again. Here she is. It's on screen. It's my choice whether to watch or not. So I've come to my position about the presence of that person. So therefore, it's kind of on me.
No, I disagree. I don't think it's on you, right? It's on the creators to produce something that a normative mainstream audience.
Well, when I say by on me, I mean as in the cases, it's up to me for me to decide whether that's a deal breaker for me enjoying it or not. I to be honest, I mean, I've got to the point now, and I think it was bailing on Star Trek Discovery that got me to this place. I don't hit play on something now unless I know that there's a 80% minimum chance that I'm going to have a good time. Doctor Who's
not that was developed as you, right?
Doctor Who's a bit of a special case because it's got a special place in my heart, as I know it does yours, and yours out there as well. Of course, it does yours too. So Doctor Who is slightly different, but that's the core principle of it. I knew Jinx Monsoon was going to be in it. I thought just take it at face value. Try to be as generous as you possibly can, and so maybe that's why I. Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. I'd rather they cast a million other people, but they didn't. So, I don't want to spend any more of my life complaining about something that I can't change.
I don't think it's completely. Is it? Yeah, you're making a good point.
It is.
But am I complaining about it because I can't change it? No, you know what? I think I have the right to complain about it. Right? I think. This is something that's not. This is something that's public property.
I think we're right to revisit the material in light of the fact that we were speaking about it before and we hadn't seen it, and now we can speak about it again, having actually seen it. So it's worth revisiting now. Of course it is. But I think again the conversation has moved on. If you're going to ask me, what did I think about Jinx Monsoon actually in the episode? That's a conversation I've never had, and obviously the conversation moves on. But if you want,
that's the next place I was going to ask you, because I just found Jinx. I don't know if it was he or her. I just revolting, really, not revolting as in Syl.
Yeah.
Revolting as in oh god, that's degenerate weirdo. Get me away from that. Right, just seemed like I got very gay rapist vibes of Jinx, right? And I was like, ew. So there's that going on. But then
I've actually got less tolerance towards that person. When for a time you can sort of get used to people and accept them. I mean, I find, for example, what's her name? Yasmin
Finney.
Yasmin Finney. I find that person generally a forgettable presence. Doesn't give any interviews that I've ever read. Has never said anything incendiary that I've ever seen. And so I tend to Yeah, you know, they were in the show. I know they're coming back at some point. She's coming back, whatever. So they don't wind me up.
No.
but Jinx Monsoon, I feel actually far worse about her now after all this time.
I think it's them, but I don't want to get you in trouble. I think it's them, not her. Whatever.
Who cares?
But okay, so that going on, I felt the fantasy elements in this, the breaking the fourth wall and the fantasy elements, also was a major drag factor for me. Right, I like the first break of the fourth wall, which I thought was very, very clever, where Jinx looks into camera and starts playing the Doctor Who music on the piano, and it goes into the titles. I thought that was really genuinely innovative and clever.
Yeah, I like that.
But I didn't like the representation of the notes. It just felt silly to me. It felt like very lightweight. It felt dumb, for want of a better word. And
the representation of the what? Sorry, the notes.
The notes when she was using her.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that either. They did that before with something else quite recently, and I mean, obviously back in 2006, sorry, in Fear Her, that didn't work then. The charcoal, but they've done it since, and it never works. I think it's just. Again, I see where it comes from. It's Russell T Davies' sort of fascination with the Looney Tunes and that kind of stuff. But I don't think that we're there yet. I don't think it quite works. But it's the same with the talking babies thing. I love that idea, and that didn't break the spell for me either. But we all know, but we all know the technology isn't quite there. But
certainly wasn't for space babies.
But you know, it because it's fun, because it's kind of sweet, because it's amusing, but I think the stuff with the notes, obviously, it's meant to scare us. It's a harder sell.
Yeah, I got. By the way, you should know I got shit for in my comments for saying I didn't think I thought that Shooty was better at being the Doctor than Jodie Whittaker by a long way. Right?
Considerably. It's like a country mile.
I want to ask you, like, is there any Doctor you wouldn't rather see other than Shooty Gatwa? Because me, he is like I would rather see literally anybody else, any other Doctor than
I was thinking about this last night.
Yeah.
And no, of course there isn't. But then again, it's been, for some reason, it's as if I felt that he kind of sleepwalked through Ruby Road a little. I feel that we haven't actually
in it that much, right? It was more about introducing Ruby.
Yeah, so I feel like I've only just met this Doctor, and so ask me at the end of the season, I may have a different answer. I think
that there's going to be very little development or growth with this Doctor. He seems to be Shooty Gatwa is playing it as Shooty Gatwa, and I think he's going to continue playing it as Shooty Gatwa.
I suspect the character may not grow that much, but I think that's largely. I don't think Russell T Davies does that much to grow the character of the Doctor. I think he sets certain parameters which the actor can play within. Because when David Tennant was doing it, and Simon Horton, you know, one of my best mates, Simon Horton, he said this to me a lot because he knows I love the 10th Doctor certainly. He says, yeah, but the character never evolved the entire time that Tennant was doing it. And whilst I don't agree with him lock stock, I see what he means. I think that Russell sees the Doctor as a kind of as very much as a standard and almost unshiftable, whereas Moffat,
right?
Yeah. I think Moffat is a little more. I think Moffat's braver with the character.
Yeah, that's it. However, the Tennant years really had different eras. Like a later David Tennant story, like a post-Donna story, he was very weighted down, right? It was a very subtle difference, right? But and the earlier one was much more youthful. So I think it's probably more from Tennant's performance than it was from the writing, right. But I don't know, like.
But I'll state again what I stated the other day on my show, that I feel that my first instinct is that Shooty Gatwa is not a natural fit for this part. In the same way that Matt Smith, absolutely a natural fit for the part. Tennant, Capaldi, God, you couldn't really have found an actor who was better suited to the role. Paul McGann too, even though he didn't know it, he's certainly the case. I'd say the same is true of Colin Baker as well. Despite my favourite Doctor wasn't necessarily a natural fit for the part, Peter Davison, and so I do think of Ncuti. I put him in that category of Ncuti in with somebody like Eccleston, somebody like Peter Davison, who isn't necessarily a natural. And see, McCoy. McCoy is sort of like dead centre on that because I think he was actually a natural fit. I think but only just. So
well,
I think
the interesting thing about McCoy is he was a natural fit, but they didn't realise it until they did a year of it.
Yes, that's it.
Oh my God, I'm perfect for this.
It was the momentum of it. I mean, that poor man. It would scare the life out of most people. It's only because he's barking mad that it didn't terrify the man.
Remembrance of the Daleks, when you see him walk out, right, for the first time with Ace, you're in a different universe.
Yeah, completely.
And it was awesome. By the way, the upscaling project, you got to get their Remembrance of the Daleks is freaking awesome. Like the 4K Remembrance, I'm just $3 a month. Yeah, I'm up for that. Although they're like 30 gig each, these stories, they're huge.
Yeah, I can't get it. I love seeing the stills from it, but I can't go there. Yeah, I'm happy with the Blu-rays for the time being.
You need a hard drive. Here, 1 second. Like, you need. I have this hard drive specifically for that reason, right?
I think that the people who claim and you know anybody who's claimed that Whittaker was better than Ncuti Gatway is trying a little too hard.
No, you're insane. right?
To shoot this down.
That look, if somebody says that, you've got to check them for a head injury instantly. There's something wrong with you, right?
But I agree. I agree. He's not a natural fit for the part, and he's going to need to work at it to really.
He is living this blessed life where he's been told he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't think he's up for working, right? Let me show you this. I showed this.
Well, I can. Oh, God.
No, this is not of Ncuti Gatwa, right?
No, it's.
But this is who they're appealing to. Now, this goes for a minute. It'll blow your mind, right? This will literally blow your mind.
I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know: are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time? You know. And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else. And then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist. And if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to. I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled.
Dear me, this is exactly what we've said.
Entitlement.
That is the generation with that not the right and.
We don't need to reboot the Rabbi, do we?
Yeah,
Let's hope not.
Well, you know, it's a fun.
Obviously, that's scary. That's probably a very young girl, probably about 18, 19. She's got a lot of growing up to do.
Right. But I feel that again, Ncuti getting all this limelight in Hollywood, being told he's the bestest ever. It's the absolute the worst thing you could do to develop.
Exactly. Your description of him as a purse puppy is brilliant. It's exactly what they've turned him into. I believe he's being sadly, tragically, maybe even because obviously he's been playing the role in his world for 2 seasons now, tragically mismanaged and being told and being to the point where, and because he's a bit empty-headed, you know, you only have to listen to him speak for longer than about 30 seconds to realize there's not much going on upstairs. He's buying into it all, and
okay, so Ncuti aside, right? Which again, Ncuti aside, I can live with, but like this breaking the fourth wall, which I was okay when Jinx did it in the beginning, but then Shooty at the end, winking to camera, and before they go into the music number. I hated that. Oh my god! That's like nails on a chalkboard. I absolutely hated every moment of that.
You know, the reason why I didn't hate it, it's only because I was so relieved. I was expecting there to have been a song every 3 minutes during that.
Okay.
So by the time we get to it, and if that's all I've got to sit through, I was like, I was mopping my brow with relief. And anytime any character in any show breaks the fourth wall again, it makes me wince. I hate it when they did it in classic Doctor Who. I'm always uncomfortable when they do it in New Who. You know, Capaldi did it a couple of. I just don't like that at all. Stylistically, how we want to term. But again, it's not. It doesn't spoil episodes. It doesn't spoil episodes for me. I think if you've had a really bad time for 45 minutes and you've got that wanker winking at you, it's the last thing that's going to make you feel better. But again, it's not a deal breaker for me. I came away from that episode up on the deal because I thought I was in for a really rough ride for 50 minutes, and what I got was
you normally pay more for that.
Absolutely.
Really rough ride for 20 minutes.
Pay extra.
How much more time do you have? Because I was going to preview the film.
I have. I have got a shoot. I have got a shoot in a moment. But I'm preparing for this. I'm getting ready to step on it or step in something. Based on the things I've been saying lately, heaven knows what I'm going to step into or what I'm going to say. But this is us later from 8 o'clock with Type 40 Live over on the Type 40 channel. Type 40 Live steps out onto, you can see we're onto. We've got lots to talk about, lots to laugh about, and a few pals coming along for the ride as well. So please come and drop by and see what we've got to say for ourselves.
Yeah. By the way, I do have to talk to Mega Geek because I know he doesn't want to watch the new era. But
no.
It's like being really against it and not watching it, I think devalues his case. I think it weakens his
I agree.
So yeah. But you know, I kind of agree with him.
But I do agree with him that, again, like I said earlier on, if you're not going to get any pleasure out of something and you know that, why waste 2 hours of your life?
It's good, yeah. Good. It's I mean, me because it's I can't not watch Doctor Who, right? I mean, if I I'm the same. Orphan 55, which is Orphan 55 is just so much worse than anything we've seen on screen.
Oh, by a million miles!
It's not even close at that bad, right? There's a woman who's in every episode. What's her name again?
I'll tell you the actress's name the actress's name is Susan Twist. She was in Brookside and Coronation Street, and she's done things like that.
So a rumor going around, which I don't, it sounds actually quite credible, is that she's Ruby's mother is somehow Susan, right? And I think she's playing a version of Susan, right? I think that sort of, which I find an interesting one. What do you think of that?
Well, you find out at 8 o'clock at Type 40 Live.
1 hour and 8 minutes.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, in all seriousness, this is the kind of playfulness. This is the sort of stuff we should be talking about as fans of something which is fantastical and mythological, and it should be event TV. I think that we as a fandom can actually. I think that we're quite adept at polishing turds in Doctor Who fandom, and this is right across the board. So we can turn this into the event that the BBC seem content for it not to be. They're quite happy for Disney Plus and Bad Wolf to do all the work.
Yeah, they made me not care about it so much that I'm not going to do that. Right? It's just like and I think that's where we are.
But no, we are though, because you just asked me that question, so we are. Aren't we?
No, I'm asking you because I know you're more into this, and I'm building up your show for you. What do you want out of it?
I think that Carol Ann Ford is 83, 84 years of age, and I think it would be a crying shame. It'd be a crying shame if she wasn't involved at some point.
Would it be
one last time?
I don't think it would be, because again, here's the thing. there was so much hope of a new beginning, like of turning things around, of something being different, right? After like the mind-melting wokeness of and lack of quality of the Whittaker era, right? So you're living in that shadow, and I think worse than seeing Doctor Who go crap the first time, right? It's seeing it not live up to those expectations the second time, and basically doing everything that they would do in 2017. Right? I think for Russell, it's still 20. He doesn't realize the world's changed. Yeah, he's very out of touch, and I think that crushing disappointment has turned into surly, belligerent anger, right? And I think that's really one of the major currents in fandom now. There's surly, belligerent. You're seeing it yourself. You're getting shit for saying I liked it. Right? It's
people seem. I've taken quite a lot of flack simply because I enjoyed watching a couple episodes of Doctor Who, and
nobody will give you any shit for liking Time in the Rani or so many.
They do. They do. They do.
Shit.
But it's wrapped up.
The Bannerman was shit, and you're crazy for liking it. But I'm not mad about it, right?
But it's wrapped. But now in this day and age, it's wrapped around something else. But because of the culture, and of course, it depends who you're talking to as well. It depends who you're talking to in day-to-day life. What context? Because we are embroiled in this culture war, and content creators, perhaps we're more involved than others talking about this sort of stuff publicly. So it's almost like you've got to pick a side and say certain things, and neither side is better than the other for this. There's a tribalism which I believe has taken hold in both camps, which is never, I don't like using phrases like this, but never a good look. It stops people from thinking, it stops people from talking. It leads people towards a solution that always involves absolutes, and it makes bad friends out of people. It closes. It really does. So I don't really care what people say. People say to me. I know why I respond in the way that I respond to stuff. I'm quite happy for people to disagree with me. It's perfectly fine. I'll sleep fine knowing that. But don't expect me to, and by the same measure, I reserve the right to revise my opinion. I might go and rewatch Space Babies, which I enjoyed so much, and feel differently about it, or not enjoy it so much. Because sometimes I find that with movies and TV shows and all sorts of things where I see them again, and for some reason, it's like sometimes it's if you go and see a film with a pretty girl or something like that, it's a little different to going and seeing it with your mates, and it's different. Right. And I think it's like that. Entertainment can sometimes be different when you revisit it, and I reserve the right to feel differently later. But other than that, no, I've got no qualms about admitting the things that I like and the things that I don't, and explaining why. And I've got no issue with people saying that they felt completely differently. That's also fine.
Right. Okay, I think honestly, I think the best thing this is going to do for Doctor Who is hopefully, maybe we'll be able to chisel through our what's the word we're looking for? Our tribalism, right? We're able to chisel through our tribalism and have half the people like it, have half people not like it. I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, I would really love a real demographic.
The worst thing that could have possibly have happened, really, for the sake of sensible, reasonable debate around this, the worst thing that could possibly have happened was for it to have aligned in any way with Disney, because it immediately becomes fodder to the greater culture war for reactionaries to make silly videos about. The
problem is it fits
and make sweeping statements. Yeah, of course. So up to a point. Yeah, up to a point it does. I mean, Disney and the BBC are, in many respects, well, on paper they're good bedfellows. I mean, it's.
I was so excited for Disney to get Star Wars.
But you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? For us, it means that we can't really talk and focus on what we should be speaking about and focusing on, because it always comes with this angle that it's somehow Disney's Who, and that to give this a day in court or to look at it generously means that you're hand waving a whole list of things that Disney stands for, or the things that people hold Disney accountable for. And I understand why, but that's just not the way I mean, particularly in Britain, because Disney's a big brand here, but again, it's nowhere near as big as, particularly in its home country. It is a brand. We've all got Disney movies. We all grew up watching them, blah, 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 blah. But obviously, only a certain amount of us have been to Disneyland. I would imagine more people in the States have been to Disneyland. It's not as big here. It's not as big a deal with the general population. The general person who watches BBC One doesn't really care whether the Disney logo's at the end of it any more than they did when the Universal logo popped up at the end of the TV movie in '96.
Yeah, the average person who watches BBC now are in their 50s and 60s.
That's correct. Yeah.
And Doctor Who is, again, this is so obviously made for TikTok clips. Like, I couldn't stand that song at the end. There's always
I haven't had many reports back from normies about this, but the ones that I have had have been very varied. From one man in his early 70s, who's a family man with children and grandchildren, and a younger person who's I think about 21 now, and somebody I used to go to school with, so they're like in their 40s, mid 40s. And all of them have been positive. None of them are fans, but they've always watched it or been aware of it.
I think it's tanking big time, right? I don't think it's had really no traction whatsoever.
There's no momentum. There's no momentum behind it that I can see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether it's tanking because I don't know. I'm not sure how we quantify that. I won't be personally. I won't be speaking about the ratings, for example, on my show until we have that consolidated figure, and I'm going to try and sort of work backwards from there more so because so much has changed.
I just don't trust the word they say. I think Disney and BBC are liars.
And that's another reason, because whichever figures that we get now, from literally anywhere as regards this stuff, are all going to be massaged. So. In some respects,
starting off with a 2.4, and they didn't massage. I mean, I think it's doing far worse than they thought. Yeah, again, that was the clip at the beginning. I was playing that Russell T Davis thinks this is what the world is up for this, and he's completely wrong. Right?
Yes.
And I don't think it's the exact wrong time in the cultural zeitgeist to do a queer Doctor Who. Sadly for him. But when people are just like, enough with your weird fringe sexuality. Can we just see TV, please?
Yeah, I haven't changed my mind about any of those things. I think, although I was surprised that those episodes they had the energy that they did. I do believe that their general editorial position is desperately behind the times.
The energy was very good. I agree with you. But the energy was born on a confidence based on a delusion that that this was going to go down well, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the sort of. I mean, you could say he's got every reason to be confident because he's had considerable success with it before, and they courted him, they blew smoke up his arse, they pretty much let him do whatever he wanted with this brand this time. He got carte blanche.
That interview.
Yeah, so he's got every reason to feel as he did, but I don't. Yeah, I think let's wait. My advice with all this is wait and see. It's been going 2 episodes,
hey, look,
1 week.
Episode coming up in a couple of.
I wouldn't be writing. I wouldn't be writing any postmortems just yet. This all may well surprise us. We're 1 week in of a 7-week thing. I mean, the way I see it, why not open your heart to it a little bit more? Why not forget some of the noise and the nonsense and some of the baggage of this just for 6 or 7 weeks? If it gets to week 7 or 8 and you think, God, I really wish I'd have watched something else, or they've really solid this for me and I feel let down by this, or I feel foolish because I've watched this. You haven't really lost a great deal. You may enjoy it. That's how I look at it. It's only 6 or 7 weeks.
I really wanted to enjoy it. I really, really wanted to. But honestly, I don't know if I'm using this channel as an excuse to watch it so I can see what's going on and report back, or
you're not.
But I think if I didn't have this channel, firstly I would have been I would have been out after Orphan 55. But I would have come back for the specials. I wouldn't go back for Boom. Based on what I probably would have made. I probably wouldn't have made it to the end of the Devil's Court if it wasn't if I didn't feel like I had to watch it. Right? It's
it hasn't helped. It hasn't helped in Britain that this, because to us we know that why this series is different from the last. We know what's happened behind the general person in the street, particularly as they haven't marketed it particularly that much or that well. To them, it's just the latest series of Doctor Who. It's been on forever. I think that Simon is absolutely right that to have a real seismic effect with this brand again, you probably do need to take it off for 3 or 4 years. And I mean totally off. No specials, no dicking around, to literally take it away. And then you may see a different result. But when something's been on for 2 decades, malaise does set in, even if it gets good. You see that kind of thing with soaps all the time. They go through purple patches. And obviously they're on permanently.
The purple patch we're in is based on this culture war, which has been not started by us, I feel, and has been raging for 7 years. And basically it's over right now. Russell's side has lost, even though they control all the institutions.
He'll be one of the very last people sort of stood up to his knees in the mud, not realising that it's over. He will.
Scale says, "Ray, what's wrong with Time in the Rani? I watched. I rewatched the count. It's like, well, I guess me too, but I don't know. The music, it's not one of my favorite stories. I mean, listen, the Rani's balls of death. Everybody loves the Rani's balls of death, and that was a real effect we were amazed about when we saw when it happened.
I still think it looks pretty smart whenever I rewatch it.
No, that's still a good effect. I agree with that. I like the CGI sky. I think they had. I really like that look from that time. That's why I'm really enjoying the 4K version of Remembrance of the Daleks, which I think is really fun. Fine, I was going to preview Boom.
I've got to shoot, but thanks for having me on, mate. And I'll be previewing Boom later on as well. So if people aren't boomed out, come and see us, come and talk to us as well. But thanks for having us on, having me on again. Sorry, Rabbi. And I'll see you after your Sabbath and probably after another episode of Doctor Who.
Probably after Are you streaming Saturday night?
No. Oh God, no. No. We just did that for the anniversary because it was never say never, but that was just a thing for the anniversary. I never intended on doing it for every episode, but we'll see. Keep your notifications turned on, everybody. Thanks, mate. I'll catch you later. Bye.
There you go. Fine. So let's have a look at what we have coming up. Right? God help us. Where is it? Doink. Boom. So where'd you go? Hang on, I'm looking for the. There you go. When is the new Doctor Who magazine? Is that next weekend? Let me just look at the date. Where is it? Where's the ad for coming next month? Here we go. Where'd it go? Do we have a date? May 23rd. Oh, next week, right? Next week. Cool. Okay. Well, the Doctor Who magazine is I would say it's cack. I know, if I'm being polite. Fine, let's have a look. So, in a nutshell, on an alien battlefield, the Doctor must hold his nerve or everyone dies. Well, that's kind of an interesting premise, right? Trouble is, it really, really rests on shooting up with shoulders. I don't think he's got it, right? I don't think he's got it. But look, I will see. This is why I like to talk to Dan. It's good to be white-pilled every now and again, right? And say, maybe it won't be so bad, right? Quote unquote, Ruby, where are we? In the middle of a war. I was kind of hoping for a beach. What do you call this? Not a beach. Give it time. Everywhere's a beach eventually. Yeah, I don't like that writing. I don't know. That sounds very shooting out well to me. Okay, every time somebody's asked me publicly if I'll come back to Doctor Who, I've said it would be an unfeasibly stupid career decision, and I suppose it is. Well, he says, but here I am. So yeah, I am surprised to see him come back, right? Because he was very, very firm on saying he's never walking back to Doctor Who again, which is a shame, right? Even though I feel he was, Yeah, look, I think his time on Doctor Who was very draining, and I think having two huge successes at the same time, which was Sherlock and Doctor Who, probably hurt Doctor Who, especially the first couple of Capaldi years. Right, it's March 2023, and Stephen's on the set for the first time since hanging up this showrunner Satchel Rasslon in 2017. Ahead of us is alien vistas stretch out to the far horizon. That's no exaggeration. They've managed to build an actual horizon on a soundstage in Cardiff. Is it one of those the video backdrop ones? Okay. Because I honestly, I don't really like those so much. You saw, what was the one that was it Obi-Wan Kenobi that was all about the angry black woman Jedi hunter? I can't remember, but that was very much on one of those video backdrop thing. And man, that just seems small, right? So where are we up to? So that's no exaggeration. They managed to build a while our feet scuff the dirt of another world. One described by Russell Davies as the most dangerous world you can imagine. Oh, God, fuck off, Russell. Okay, have you not learned? Stop building things up, mate. Like wind it back in, right? Wind it back in a little bit. It would really, really, really help you. So Stephen Moffat is basically Michael Corleone of Doctor Who writers. Just when they thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Well, it's a bit more complicated than that, he explains. Russell emailed me the night before the announcement that he was taking over again, just filling me in on what he was doing, just as a mate, really. And constantly saying, if you could, if you would. And I thought, I don't even know if I got an idea anymore. Well, listen, somebody who's a professional ideas person, always has ideas, right? They always do. So look. Here, where's the famous picture of him standing on the mine, right? The set doesn't look the here. 1 second. Let's see if I can find it. Doctor Who boom. Look at images. Right, this one over here. Image address. Doink. So, I mean, look, I'm not being that fair, but this doesn't look that great a set to me. This looks very much like it's a set. And here's the thing. They kept talking about how much money they have to spend on this, and I'm not really seeing it, frankly. But we never did, was it? But I did. But then I did have an idea. I got into the habit of saying, Russell, well, we haven't done that, or we never did this properly. You know what you never did properly? And what a waste! The Cold War, the reintroduction of the Ice Warriors, really sad that wasn't better, right? It really needed a much better story to give a much more layered race that the Ice Warriors was. Which is sad. Ice Warriors are way better on Big Finish, generally speaking. At which point was it? And I kept kicking things around until I sent him this idea, which he really liked. At which point I thought, well, why not? The story's big idea had its genesis in a Doctor Who tale from many decades ago. You will know when you see it. Oh, okay. Again, fine. I wonder what it is. My guess is it's a Tom Baker story, right? Along with the old kiss to Stephen's own Doctor Who legacy. If there's a keyword that informed the script, he'd say suspense. Okay, I'm really going to work hard to go into this with an open mind to review it on Saturday, right? Really going to try and go into this open mind. Trying to say, like, perhaps maybe this one won't be gay shit, like everything else. Well, come back. There you go. Oddly enough, it's like we don't do very much on Doctor Who. We do adventure and fantasy and sci-fi, and sometimes it's a love story, but very often it's a comedy. But we don't actually do many suspense plots. Well, I would say that what's that one? That's that Chibnall one he did, which was really quite good. 42, right? I thought that was a good suspense one, right? And I think Heaven Sent was a suspense one because, boy, you cannot rewatch Heaven Sent, right? It is, when you watch it again, it's really boring because there's no suspense in it. And there's like no mystery to it. So like once you take that out, it's just like, and Capaldi's performance is fantastic, but without the suspense and mystery, it just implodes in its own way. This being, we don't do many suspense plots in a sense of this could go wrong at any time. This being Stephen Moffat script, of course, the Hitchcockian suspense is also seasoned with a dash of romance and a shard of heartbreak. Will it be gay romance and heartbreak? Probably. Right? It will probably be gay romance and heartbreak. Come back here. Fairly hefty, not to mention some fairly hefty philosophical ideas. So that makes me interested, right? That genuinely makes me interested because what I didn't like about the first two episodes, they were very dumb. I felt they were very dumb, made for very dumb people, right? So I would like it to be more intelligent. All wrapped up in the showrunner's trademark dazzling wordplay. I don't think that was Moffat's best feature. All right. I think he's just a solid writer. It's one of those that I'll be intrigued to see what Robert Holmes will be in today's TV landscape, right? Because essentially, you can't just be a writer; you've got to be a producer. Fine, where we are. So it's one of those that draws you in, makes you cry, makes you question. Executive producer Joel Collins tells Doctor Who magazine, Stephen's work is sometimes a bit dark, so what you get is a fantastic balance of a story like this within a more within some of the more playful episodes. Okay, I mean, man, those first two episodes were too playful, quite frankly. Boom also marks a significant first for Doctor Who, as it's the first in-camera visual effects technology to create the episode. The stunning alien landscape. Okay, fine. So it is one of the video wall backdrops. I don't like those. They seem, for all their expense, they just seem cheap now. Everything I see filmed on one of those feels like it's in a studio rather than outside. Where are we up to? Yeah, video effects. The technique used extensively in the Star Wars TV show and the Batman, both shit, right? Don't want to compare yourself to those. Both of those are shit. The vast bank of LED screens known as the volume, plus live camera tracking projections to create an immersive real-time digital environment. Yeah, again, but I've seen it. Okay, it's not that great. One of the things we were excited to do with the slightly better resources than the past was explore other types of technology to tell stories that otherwise would have been much harder to tell. Again, I think this is a cul-de-sac of a direction to go in. Right? I really think it's a mistake going in this direction. You know, Doctor Who. I don't know. The Matt Smith years look great to me, right? That was they just seem fine. I had no problem with that whatsoever. So this script is set on a world, so we don't have a world that doesn't exist. I understand that. So you need to create it. Normally, look. It looks to me like it would have been better in a quarry. I hate to say this. It looks like it would have been way better in a quarry. That's kind of what can I tell you? That's the DNA of Doctor Who. One of the things we're excited to do is so you need to create it, and a cost of taking a unit on location, even for a couple of days, is huge. So for something that's going to be 30 to 40% right, which means you need 60% visual effects to cover the rest. I'm bored reading this. When you pull that together, it's extraordinarily expensive. Well, again, you used to be able to make 12 episodes a year, and this looks like it's in a freaking quarry, okay? You used to be able to make 12 episodes a year, and Torchwood as well. So don't tell, it's too expensive. Stop. To help realize the vision, Joel, production designer Phil Sims, turned to the VHX house Pixamodo, whose previous work on Martin Scorsese's Oscar-winning Hugo House of the Dragon, very good, and Strange New Worlds, those effects were excellent. Even though I hated the second season, those effects were freaking excellent. Film Bits, he has some initial doubts from the Star Beast. Joel has been keeping a keen eye where in-camera VHX visual effects might give us more bang for a buck, he says. And it was something that Julianne Robertson, the director, was very keen on. I had a natural reticence because it was untried technology. I mean, again, I guess I'll watch it and have a see. But again, honestly, all this is resting completely on Shooting Out with Shoulders, like completely on his shoulders. And I don't think he's got it, right? So Russ, so we had a plan A and plan B. Plan B was to have a painted backing, which would have given us a very 60s vision of the sci-fi show. I would have loved that. But we always knew we needed that scale. And again, that's the thing I don't get with these video backdrops, right? These in-camera VFX, as they call them. It doesn't seem like scale. It just seems small to me. On the ones I've seen quite a lot of them. And look, one of the best uses of them, I think, was on Loki season 1, where you had like this village falling down, and you had Tom Hiddleston and the bland woman he was with running with it, right? And it only worked because Tom Hiddleston is such a great actor, right? He is such a but they were running on the spot, and you could kind of tell. But he is a very good actor, and he could sell it. I don't think Shoot is in that ballpark at all. We explored all available location options. A quarry, including a major copper quarry in Anglesey. Go to the one just outside London. For God's sake, just go to a quarry. Oh, but no, I mean, honestly, I feel like this is the difference between the Russian space program and the American space program, right? The American space program spent millions and millions of dollars creating the ballpoint pen because a pen wouldn't write in space. You needed the timescales there. How are you doing, timescales? A ball, like, because of gravity, a pen wouldn't write in space, so they developed the ballpoint pen. Russia didn't do that in their space program. You know what they did? They said, we use pencil, right? Use a pencil sometimes, right? Just like, I don't think this is helping you. I really don't think it's helping you. But none of them would have given us the final frame or in terms of texture or world build. Okay, you did it fine in 2008. Oh, it would barely scratch the surface. As a producer, I know the technology is going to give us something giving in the future, and Phil knows he's going to get his vision out further. But says Joe, but ultimately, the story dictates the need. So this was the right story. A story, lest we forget, that sees Rusty Davis and Stephen Moffat working together again for the first time since 2008. What story was that? 2008 season. What's the must be what's the one? Donna Noble is not here. Donna Noble has been saved. What's that one? Silence in the Library. Must be Silence in the Library. It's quite an insane thing to sit with those two dynamic powerhouses of British television and watch them at work. Smiles Joel. You just think, how lucky are we to be working with these people? Well, yes, you're lucky to be working with them. Just wrong time. Wrong point in space and time. Get ready because the Dream Team is back with a boom. Okay. I'm very glad Dan came on because he really talked me into going into this with an open mind, which I'm really going to try and do. I think it's a good thing. If one could do it. But sorry, I'm just putting up my thumbnail for Saturday night, right? And if you just came onto the stream and you haven't seen today's thumbnail, I'm so proud of it, right? Oh, makes me laugh. So, what was the thumbnail for Saturday night? I literally just had it in front of my face. But what can I tell you? I got distracted, right? I'm easily distracted, right? I mean, look, let me show you. This totally distracts me, right? Not even me wearing this Deadpool costume could save the MCU at this point, Marvel at this point. But that's exactly the MCU we all wanted. Yes, that is true. That is true. Where'd it go? Where's my thumbnail? Trouble is, I can't remember what it looks like. No, that's the Jinx Monsoon one. No, not there, not there, not there. Here we go. Fine. Saturday night. Join me back on Saturday night where, wait a minute, 7:45 UK time. I'm calling it the new Super Queer. The new Super Queer Doctor Who era continues. Boom, can Stephen Moffat rescue the show from its death dive? And listen, whether you like it or not, this show is in a death dive right now. It's in a spiral. And I think its failure to launch is gonna kill it, right? Well, last week did not go well at all. Maybe we need to try and be a bit more queer. Well, and again, this is the insanity that goes through these idiots' head, right? Yes, maybe we should try and be, no. But yes, this is the insanity that goes through it. Anyway, I'm back on Saturday night. I might be on this channel. I might be on my regular channel. My regular channel might become available. Oh, here's a question though. Let's say 15 minutes in, my regular channel becomes available. Where do I nope out of? Do I nope out of Rumble, or you can have 3 things going on at one time. So right now I have Rumble, Twitter, and YouTube. I would nope out of Twitter, I think, and I would include my regular channel. Who knows or dares to dream? Who knows or dares to dream what's going to be with Doctor Who? I'm scared to find out. 35 minutes till downstream starts. I will be there, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to say good night, good luck, and may your God walk with you. And that was